for my first Bighorn tree tent video. I showed you the inside and what we've got set up in there in the first video. We've had the tent up for a month now, and we've spent some nights in it, evenings. We're just spending a lot more time in the tent. In that month, we had heavy winds, heavy rain, hot temperatures in the 90s down to cool nights. So we've learned a few things about the tent, and I just want to share with you guys a few things that we figured out over this past month, and hopefully this will be useful to some people that have just gotten theirs, or if they're thinking about getting this tent, this should be some good information for you. So I got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's get right to it. Okay, talk a little bit about the one weak spot in the tent as far as water goes. Right here, here's your biggest threat of water. Now I had an AC unit with the exhaust. It fit perfectly through that hole. I mean, it was really tight. However, with the way it's built, rain comes down, gets underneath the fly, comes down, hits that, finds its way in, and get water on the inside of the tent. The bad rain, there's enough water to soak a bath towel. A lot of water. So keep that in mind. If you're going to have this open, if you can, keep it closed up if you don't need right away to have that exposed if it's going to be raining. Or put a towel on the ground around it to catch all that water, because you do not want to get your dry clothes wet, or your sleeping bag, any of that. You really don't want that much water, so you got to watch out for that as far as rain goes. Okay, I wanted to talk real quick about the setup of the frames on the ends. You see this extra line here, there's extra ring here. I put an extra line here to pull on the frame, so I have a line that's actually holding onto the frame itself, not just the tent cloth. It all works by pressure, tension, and just extra security. I put an extra guy line on each end, so it's actually holding onto the frame itself instead of just the tent. Also, this helps push out or pull out that frame. So on the inside you'll see this is all pretty flat. When I first put it up, this frame was sitting right up here along that seam, and it was all bunched up. Didn't quite look right. I couldn't figure it out what was going on, but found that if the white guy line is pulling down, it pushes that frame back and causes it to bunch up. So watch out when you're setting that up. Make sure that you got that pulled out as far as you can. You won't have such a saggy roof if you have that pulled out. Also, real quick on these supports, these little loops. That's the highest loop. That's about 5 feet. And there is nothing up on the top, so you're not going to be hanging any lights, nothing higher than 5 feet. And you don't want a hot light, of course, because it'll be sitting on the side, and you don't want to damage the tent wall. So that's all you've got for the lights. I was hoping that this tent had something up higher where I could hang lights from, but we don't have that. One of the things that we first figured out or noticed was on the inside of the tent, after it rained, there was water underneath under the floor, above the ground cloth, and water's gotten in between. Couldn't figure out what was really going on, how that was happening. The floor is clear enough that you can see if there's anything underneath the floor, like water, anything like that. So I was trying to figure that out. What I discovered looking around in the back here, where the wood stove would go, is you see over here this how it's kind of crinkled up a little bit, and so it's just running down the side. hitting the ground cloth and then just running underneath. And the fix was actually pretty easy. If you see the corner here, the frame, all you have to do is just pull it back so it's straight, and now the edge of the tent covers the ground cloth. It was as simple as that. So when you set up your tent, just make sure, go around the whole perimeter, make sure that everything is back in place and you don't have the ground cloth showing anywhere where you can just run off like that. You see they got it set up real nice where the ground cloth lines up with the tent, but if you don't have it set up just right, you're going to have little problems with water getting underneath. So check that as soon as you finish setting up the tent. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about cooking. I got this nice stove, propane stove. It doesn't have a wind fly, so to protect for wind, and with the way the tent leans over, cooking is going to get grease hitting the side of the tent, stuff like that. So I took some plastic and some line, stapled over it, and for the top and the bottom, and just connected it to one of these mini loops in here to provide kind of a shield to protect it from grease. I've also got underneath here some 2x4s which reach out behind and push the wall of the tent back to give us a little more space to work with without that tent being right over top your cooking area. Sometimes I just pull the whole thing back away. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the inside here also. Here we're going to put in a wood stove in a few weeks as the temperature is starting to cool down. We're at the beginning of fall, and as we can see, this is a full-size air mattress. So considering where a wood stove would go, you're not getting a full-size mattress in here and a wood stove, not unless you put this up by the front door, and it's going to block everything, anybody trying to get in and out. So we're going to swap the cot back in here. It's going to take up a lot less space. So anybody thinking full size, not going to happen, not if you're going to have a wood stove. So there is that. Also, wanted to talk about the windstorm. We had a lot of stuff is whipping around the walls of the tent. I mean, they are just whipping around a lot. So you got anything like over here in our kitchen area, anything about, I'm going to say about within 6 inches of the wall is going to get hit by the wall whipping around. Things get knocked over. So if you've got anything that you don't want knocked over that's going to break, you better make sure it's far away from the wall so it doesn't get knocked over. We had several things when they came through knocked over. Something like this where it's grounded pretty well. It got pushed around, but it didn't get knocked over. But the smaller stuff, if it's breakable or something you don't want knocked over, you better move that away from the wall. I'm going to talk a little bit about weather and temperature with that tent also. With the windstorm, we had it was really gusty, very strong winds coming through. That center support is free floating, so it's rocking back and forth. The sides of the tent were just whipping around like a flag in a gale. So it was looking kind of scary. And you've got these vents in the top and little ones on the side, so the wind just kind of blows through it, some of it anyway, blows through the tent, the sides, they whip around a lot. So, that relieves pressure, which is good, and that's why you don't have a tent blowing down. That and those foot-long stakes. Now, you may have noticed that you got 2 white lines. Those are your main lines. as long as you have those anchored in good, your tent's going to stand. The rest of those black lines are secondary, so even if every one of those get pulled out, you'll still be fine as long as those white ones are in. So keep that in mind when you're setting up. The ones on the side, all they're doing is just pulling the wall out a little bit, give you a little more room on the inside. So you don't have to put these big foot-long stakes to hold those little lines up. You can use a regular tent stake, and that'll be fine because it's such a light weight load. Even, you know, if you're doing you got a quick and dirty and set up, getting started late, getting dark, you can skip the side ones altogether, do them in the morning. It's just the ones on the end that are really important. Temperatures. We have a heater buddy. At night it would get down into mid-50s, high 50s, not real bad. Except heater buddy just a few feet from the head of the bed. On the lowest setting, use those 1 pound things. It didn't last very long. So, but it kept us comfortable while it lasted. I'd say heater buddy would use about 3 pounds a night. But we were comfortable at those temperatures. And it did, like some other people have said, you get this pool of water that starts building underneath it. It's very humid around here, so we had all that condensation building up. I suppose that'd be from the propane tank itself. So you gotta be careful with that. Air conditioning. For those of you that might actually try doing it, which we did, it's an older, smaller AC unit we put in there. During the day, the sun just beats right through that tent. It may be a dark color, but man, if it's 90 degrees outside, it's 95 to 98 inside. And you know, it's hard to get air circulation through there, so we put in a big fan, which helped a lot. The AC unit, it'll give you, well, that one gives about a 5-foot range to really cool you down. And it would cool it down about, well, when it was, you start at 95 and it's about 90 outside, you get it down to about 78, 79 inside. So not bad, really. But it's the direct sun that really gets you. So if you can put it in shade, you got warmer days, put it in as much shade as you can. That heat just really pounds in there, it just sits there, so not great. Now, I took out the full-size inflatable mattress, put it in the cot, moved it back in here, and you can see we have a lot more space in here. We got room for the wood stove. That's not even up against the sides. So that gives you a whole lot more room to work with. A whole lot better. Try and squeeze in a full size. Okay, next thing is the protector, the fly, that goes over the wood stove area. The instructions don't tell you how to orient it at all, which side is even on the outside. So I spent a good 10 minutes trying different combinations, putting a lot of brain power into trying to figure out how this is supposed to fit, because it isn't like a square or anything like that. You got some odd shapes, no clips with colors to explain what goes where. So if you have one, set it up before any of your frame goes up. Otherwise you're going to have to get a ladder or bring it back down to connect these really high areas where you clip it all together. So there aren't too many pictures of anything on how that is supposed to go. goes like this. Your top one, way up in the very highest point of the whole tent. That's the tough one. You'll see that you have tension. You can set the tension on each of these. I recommend not going more than halfway. You have it halfway out or a little bit more, because what happens is, well, first, it's a lot easier to tighten it after you put it on than it is to try and loosen it. It's a pain. Secondly, if you have those too tight, especially up on the top, you see this is kind of attached up in the top on both of these frames, these supports, for the back and for the middle. Put those in real tight, and that pulls those two together and interferes with your guy lines in the back, and it gives you a saggy back end roof. It's all because it's all getting pulled together. No matter how tight you have guy lines in the back, this fly is going to hold everything together and put a lot of tension on the fly that you probably can't handle under difficult situations, and you'll be just pulling that apart. So keep it loose. Once you got it up, make adjustments, tighten it up. So that's one thing you got to watch out for. Okay, one thing that's a little bit of an annoyance coming in and out of the tent. You have a guy line that comes straight out. Should be this white one. I'll talk about this other one in a second. Plus the other two. It's got three as you're coming in and out of the tent. And you're not paying attention, you're not thinking about it. You're going to run into a guy line coming straight out of the tent. One thing you can do, I haven't done it, but what you can do, where this white line, which comes pre-installed, already attached up here, if it's a problem for you, get an extra long line, another line like this, or you can even try and work with what they give you. Stake it out where these other two are, one on each side, make an inverted V. Now you only have really two areas blocking your space coming in and out. Okay, so that's everything I've got for now. We got winter coming. We'll see how things go with that, with the wood stove, how that sets up and how that works in milder winter anyway. So if anybody's interested, when that time comes, we'll make another update video, see what else we find out. And thanks for watching.